This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah. Uh, yes. Before we get started, let me set the expectations. This demo session, we are going to explain you that what are the things we are going to cover, how this the course will be executed, and what you can expect, what kind of projects you would be developing. So this the entire the course uh, curriculum and what are the things you will be developing, what are the tools you are using. I would be giving the explanation about that. Yeah. If you have any questions at any point of time, you can stop me and you can ask your questions. You can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions. Okay. This is the Java full stack course where we are going to, as a full stack developer, what are the things it's required. These days, every company is expecting the person who is going to hire, he should have the knowledge on the complete knowledge on the end-to-end knowledge. You should know database, you should have the knowledge on the UI, then the backend, and effective uses of the tools JIT, then the build tools called the Maven, Jenkins, and the Sonar. This the whole ecosystem of the application development. What are the things are involved? They would be expecting the knowledge on that. Don't worry, we are not going to learn everything in 1 or 2 days. It will take the close to 2.5 months. It is going to take it here. Yeah. So the our program gets starts with the first one is with the dev environment setup. Okay. So we will start with our discussion with the dev env dev environment, and this is a place as a Java developer, what are the things are required in your mission, what are the tools are required. The first one is it's very obvious. It's a Java. That's nothing but the JDK. The JDK is the latest version is 22 as of today, and we would be using the either 21 or 22 latest versions. You would be using that, and whenever you are using the latest version, you will each 6 months Java is releasing the one new version they are releasing. You need not worry about too much about the every new release. So whenever the new release is happened, what are the key features they have introduced, you will be learning that. And if really that is useful for in your project, then you may go on to change that. And another thing is, the whenever the Java is new version is released, it doesn't mean that every company will go and upgrade their projects to the new version. Yeah, it will take its time. Some of the projects still it's running in Java 5 or Java 8. It's still running. So whenever you are creating the brand new projects, to keeping in, you will be going with the latest versions. You are going to use that. Okay, these days the microservices concepts are there, so that whenever they create any new service, they will start with the new versions of the latest versions. They would be picking up that here. This is the one thing, and then you should use the one IDE. So this is a IDE. We should use it here. IDE is here. You can use the Eclipse or NetBeans or IntelliJ IDEA. You can use it here. Okay. So this is the IntelliJ IDEA Community Edition. We are going to use it here. This is the IDE. Suppose if you are already familiar with the uh, Eclipse or NetBeans or equivalent of that, if you are using, that's well and good. Otherwise, you can use the IntelliJ IDE. You can use it here. This IntelliJ IDEA is the community edition. We are going to use it here. And then uh, what are the source code you are developing? The source code needs to be pushed to the or you need to maintain in a central repository, or we need to maintain the version control system. Whenever you're working on the projects, there will be multiple people will be working on the same code base. They will be working on that. You should maintain the each person the commits as a separate version. You have to maintain that, and collaboratively you want to develop that things. In order to do that, here you would be using the Git is the version control system. We are going to use it here, GitHub. So the Git, we have to install it here, local machine, in order to push your code to the GitHub. So we need to have the Git, and you should create a GitHub account, and you will be using that. Then we need to have the build tool. This is a place where we would be using the Maven. We are going to use it here. From the first project itself, we would be creating the Maven project, we will not create a like no Java project kind of a. We will not create that. We will be creating the from the first day itself. The Maven, we will take it here. You will be creating the Maven project. Maven is a, a build tool where it will maintain the standard directory structure for your project, and what are the dependencies are required. Those all the dependencies will be pulled by the Maven. Okay. Then you require a one database. Okay, the database is we are going to use the PostgreSQL. Okay, PostgreSQL is a database. It's a relational database. Our equivalent of that PostgreSQL is MySQL, Oracle, DB2, Derby. Like you have got the multiple databases are there, and we would go with the PostgreSQL. And this PostgreSQL version we will not install from the local. We would be taking from the render.com. We are going to use it here. This render.com is a cloud provider like Amazon. They will offer you database as a service. You would be taking here. We would be taking the database as a service. We will take from them, and it's a free for 3 months. I think 3 months is a good time for us to learn this course. Yeah, and in order to connect with the this database, in order to connect with this database, you require a dviewer. It's required here. Okay, we require a dviewer. Dviewer is a database client. It is a database client. Okay, this database client will allow us to connect with the multiple databases. Okay, this is what dviewer is. Dviewer. So this dviewer is a universal database. Like now, if you look at here about about if you look at here, this is a community edition. We are going to use it here. Dviewer. It is a universal database manager. You can connect with the any database. You can connect it here. Okay, you can connect with the any database. Okay, you can connect with the any database, like no, so where they have got the multiple options they are having here. If you look at here, what are the databases, you can click here. You can connect with, you might have seen some of the databases, or you might have familiar with that, or some of the things may not be familiar, either Hive database or Apache Drill or SQLite. Okay, like there are so many databases, are this many databases are there, like no, every database you cannot download the one dviewer, sorry, one like no the client. Like when you are using the multiple kind of this kind of multiple databases, when you're using here, this is one of the best option, we can say that here. So this is a dviewer you would be using. Okay, and we need to know, we will be installing the dviewer as well. Okay, let me put it here, dviewer, dviewer. Okay, once you have taken the dviewer installation, and then we will be installing the Docker desktop. Okay, what are the things you are going to, like now some of the things we'll run it as a uh, Docker. We will create a Docker containers, we'll create it here. How to use the Docker and what is the Docker desktop, we will be learning about that here. So these are the tools which are required, you need to install in your machine. These are basic things it's required. And when you're learning the UI, you may use the one more called the VS Code. Okay, that's another IDE. So this is the IDE name called the VS Code. We are going to use it here. Okay, VS Code. Okay, VS Code. So this is the thing. These are basic tools. Every Java developer who are working as a full stack developer, you must have that. Some people may go with the instead of Maven, Gradle. We are going with the Maven. So this is a basic dev environment setup. We need to do that. That's a first class. You would be doing the all the setup. You would be doing that here. And doing the setup is these days it is not at all a difficult task. Like no, everything is executable files they are going to download. They are giving, just you are going to download and you are going to use it here. Another is if you are using the Mac or something, like no, there is a home brew. By using the brew, you can install these things easily you can install that. Okay, now once you are done with that, then we are going to get started with our first module called the core Java. We'll discuss about the core Java. We are going to discuss about that. Okay, the core Java, and this is a core Java. When you are doing the core Java, we will be starting from the basics, like now what is a programming, what is a Java compiler, what is a JDK, what is a JRE. Okay, then how the memory allocation is happen, what is the data type, how you write a hello world example. From the basics, you are going to start with that. Okay, so from the JDK to JRE, what is a JRE, and then you are going to take the JVM. What is a JVM? Java Virtual Machine. So then we are writing the basics, how this program will be compiled, how it generates the dot class file. So we will start from that basics. Then once you are done with that, here we will be using the uh, like now if condition. Okay, then we are going to write the for loops, for loop, while switch statement, switch expressions. Okay, switch expression. This was a later recently introduced this switch expression. What is a switch expression? We'll be discussing about that, and then you will discuss about the what are the Java keywords. Like every language has got its own keywords. Like what is the Java keywords we'll be learning. Then once you learn that here, then we are going to discuss about the main concepts called the object-oriented programming. Okay, here you can say it as a. Let me move this here. Okay, here we are going to learn about the okay object-oriented programming. Okay, so this is a place where we are going to learn about the cool. I don't know why this is. Oh, it's deleted everything. I am unable to move this as well. Okay, here we are going to learn about the. So this is object-oriented programming. So where you will be learning about the what is a class, what is the object, and how we are going to do that here. Then we are going to learn about the latest concepts when we are coming to the object-oriented programming. There is something called the records, which is introduced in Java 9.17. Then we have got the functional interface. Okay, one functional interface, streams. Okay, functional interface, we are going to discuss about that here. Lambda. So these are the topics we would be discussing in object-oriented concepts. Then we would be discussing about the exceptions. Okay, how we are going to handle the exceptions, what is the exceptions, we would be discussing about that. Then we are going to learn about the collection framework, and in the collection framework, the Java 8 introduced the streams, how we are going to use the streams. Okay, then what are the collection classes are available, implementations you would be learning. Then we are going to learn about the reflection API. Okay, then we are going to learn about the annotations. Okay, annotations and Java datetime, Java datetime, how we are going to use the datetimes. This we would be learning about that. And then we are going to discuss about the files, how to work with the external files like CSV, JSON, and ML. Okay, so these are the files how you would be, and Excel, and then there is a PDF. Okay, these files, how to generate the files and how we are going to use those files. Like most of the applications, you are going to download the files and you are going to upload the files. How we are going to do that, this is what you will be learning about that. Okay, once uh, we are done with that here, like now by using this you can do a standalone application. Like now you don't have any database interactions here, just you are going to develop your own standalone application. You can develop that here. Now here, if you want to persist the data in a durable manner, now there we have to learn about the database. Suppose if I'm taking here, okay, here I'm going to learn about the database. I'm going to learn about that here. When you're learning the databases, you don't say that I'm learning the database PostgreSQL, I'm learning the DB2 or MySQL. Instead of that, we will say it as a SQL. This SQL is the standard language, or the which is given by the SQL group. So this standards was given in the form of a commands. And what are the relational databases? Most of the relational databases will follow the standards. And once you get familiar with the SQL, you can go and comfortably work with the any other databases. To learn, to start with the SQL, we should choose the one of the database. We are going to choose the PostgreSQL. Here we are going to use the PostgreSQL. We are going to use it here. And this PostgreSQL also, we will not create our own instance. Either we will create a Docker, or you are going to create a render.com. You are going to create a cloud service. You will use that in the cloud. You are going to create a one instance, and that instance you would be connecting from the DB client. You are going to use it here. Here I said that here we are going to use the DBOR. DBOR is a database client. This, by using this database client, you are going to interact with the the PostgreSQL server. You are going to interact with that, like no, where you are going to how to write the SQL queries, how to create the table, insert the data, retrieve the data, and how do you use the SQL functions, how to do the joins, what are the different types of joins. These all concepts will be covered in SQL. Once you learn SQL, now here we connected with the DBOR. You are connecting it as a client. But instead of DBOR, I want to use the my Java application. I want to use it as a client. This is my Java application. I want to use and I want to connect with this database. The same thing I want to connect with this database. You cannot do directly your Java application. You cannot connect with these databases directly. In between, we are going to use the something called the JDBC API. We are going to use it here. This is a place where you are going to use the JDBC. By using the JDBC, you will make a call to the what are the call you are making to the database. It will go through the JDBC, and that will be converted into the database specific call. And whenever response comes here, so the response will be like no, what are the response you are getting here? The response you are going to get that into the database response. Again, it will be converted into the Java response. It is going to be converted here. How you can interact your Java application to the databases by using the JDBC, you would be learning about that. Yeah. Now once you are done with that here, like you know SQL, you know Java application, like by using this, you are going to develop a standalone application. It is not an enterprise grade applications. In order to build a enterprise grade applications or web applications, you need to know first, you need to know UI. Okay, what is the UI technologies? Like no, here we are going to learn about the HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, then you have a Bootstrap and Angular. Okay, these are the things, core things. And HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap, we will not spend more time because it's you can do the self-learning. And where what are the things are required in JavaScript, we will be spending more time. And then Angular, we may spend, we will spend the more time, not on the HTML and CSS. That you like no, you will we'll give the overview of that, and like no, how things has been. How you can use the things, what are the things are available, those explanation will be given. And the main focus will be given on the JavaScript, where you JavaScript is also kind of a uh, it's not kind of a, it is another programming language where JavaScript is can be used extensively. It will be used. And here we will be learning about the extensively about the JSON. What is a JSON? And like you know, how we are going to deal with the JSON in the core Java. During the explanation of the core Java, when you are explaining about the file systems, I will be explaining about the JSON. How are you going to read JSON data? How you will convert your object into the JSON? There are third-party libraries we need to use it here. Like you know, especially when you are working with the JSON, there is a library called the faster XML. That is a library. If you are working with the YAML file, there is something called the snake YAML. If you are working with the Excel, Apache POI. If you are working with the PDF, Apache FOP. So like this, you have got the different libraries you are having here. You would be using those libraries, and you are going to in you are going to convert your objects to the external files. or you're writing that your data to the external files, how to write that you will be discussing. But here we are going to discuss once again Java JSON, what is the basic syntax, and we'll get familiar with that. What is the difference between JavaScript object and the JSON object? These are the topics I will be covering in the UI. Once you are done with the UI, then we are going to move with the web technologies, like now where you want to create a dynamic web pages, you want to create it here. So web, if I'm taking here web technologies, if you take that here, this is a place where we are going to explain about the servlets and the JSPs. Even though this is not used, servlets and JSPs are not used these days, but you must get familiar with the how this web works, what is the server, and how the client requests are handled, how the request, the server is going to respond to the client request. You must aware of that. So this is a place where we will be learning about the servlets and JSPs. You are going to learn that here. And one thing I missed here, when you are doing the code Java, core Java, when you are learning about this, and you will be learning about the JUnit as well. Okay, JUnit, we are going to learn about the JUnit. You are going to learn about that here, how to do the unit testing for your Java application, whatever your application you developed. You need to do the, as a developer, the basic testing you need to do that here. How do you do the JUnit and how to set up the JUnit? You will be learning about that. Now, once you are done familiar with the, once you got the familiar with the web technologies, then you will be moving ahead with the enterprise framework called the Spring Boot. Spring, we are going to Spring framework, and this is Spring framework. You will start with Spring framework with the Spring Boot. What is a Spring Boot, and like now how to create a Spring Boot application? What are the things it is provided by the Spring Boot? You will be discussing. The main module we are going to learn about the Spring has got the multiple modules: core module, MVC, AOP, okay, Spring JDBC, and Spring Data, and Spring Security. Spring Security. These are the, the fundamental modules. You must aware of that. Like when you're doing the, what is the dependency injection, how the dependencies injection works. Okay, what are the different types of the scopes are available. So, and how to write a RESTful web services. These all concepts will be discussed in Spring. And here, when you're taking the Spring data, this is a place where we are going to use the Spring data internally uses the something called the Hibernate. Okay, Spring data internally uses the Hibernate. It uses that here. How to use the Spring data? That is a JPA, Java Persistence API. How we are going to use it here? We will discuss like what is the entity, how we are going to map your entity with the IDs, and then we'll discuss about the one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, many-to-many relationship. How do you maintain that? Those topics will be covered in JPA. And when it comes to the Spring Security, how we are going to add the security for your application and how do you maintain that application, these are the things will be covered in Spring Security. Okay, once you are done with that, the next thing is uh, yeah, once you got the enterprise applications, where by the time you will be developing the multiple applications you would be developing, and whenever you are done with that, suppose if I'm taking here I'm done with that today's class, the code will be pushed to the GitHub. Like now if you take the core Java, so this core Java has got the, what are the examples I do in a classroom, and what are the assignments, like now there will be assignment questions will be added. And at the same time, the classroom day one, what are the examples you have created? Just in the day one we created only hello world example. Like you, if you go here day two, what are the things you have done that here? Like no day wise, like no, there is only two examples we could do that here. And day three, if I'm going here, like no, there are some EMI calculator, like different examples you have done that here. The moment I have done with that session, the code will be pushed to the GitHub and this link will be shared with you. You can access this source code, you can access that. This is the one thing. And when you are working in the projects, like let's take it as the last batch. If you take that here, the batch which is going on here, what are the applications you have created here? Find in folder. Okay, there is something called the Okay, you have a different things you are having here, learning UI. This is a one of the example. I'm going to take it here, open with the, okay. So let me open this project. Okay, learning UI, I'm going to open, don't save. Yeah, so this is the one of the example I'm going to run this here, which is running in the local host. Okay, fine. This is a UI application. You are going to develop that here in the classroom example. This is one of the example which is created in classroom. If you go to the IPL stats, something you are taking here, open with the live preview server. So this would be saying that here, okay, IPL stats, if I'm taking here, hmm, okay, this is running here. Is this, yeah, this is also running. Cool. Now here, when we are doing here IPL stats, okay, here we are going to inspect the element. There is something wrong. Here we are going to get it as a get players. Get players is not defined. Okay, amount under this is what. Okay, what are the classroom examples you have done that here? The APA. So the thing is that like we would be doing the, we are going to okay, Angular. Yeah, I'll go ahead with this here. So this is one of the example. If I'm taking here the classroom example, server side you have done that here already. You learned the UI. How do you integrate that application? UI application. How are you going to integrate with that? So like if I'm taking here, this is one of the simplest example. We can say that here, like now how this APIs. What are the APIs we developed here? How we are going to consume into the your application? You will be seeing that here. Suppose if I'm selecting on the particular team, it is going to get the data of the particular team. It is going to get it here, and at the same time we are going to set as a reading Angular, something I'm saying here, and we are going to set as a reading uh, reading Java. Okay, I'm going to say that I'm done with that, I'm done with that, like no, whatever you we discuss, like we will create a one sample project and we will be integrating the the projects we are going to front end and back end we are going to integrate, and finally that application will be deployed in render.com. These are render.com where you can deploy your applications into the database. Sorry, render.com, you are going to deploy that here. Suppose if I'm taking the big bookstore UI, so this application which is already deployed, bookstore UI. Okay, like now you can search the books and you can add the book. Okay, you can add the book and you can search the book. This is what the server application also it's deployed. uh, then there is a two aspects of here. One is a server application, one another one is a UI application. Okay, server and the UI applications, we have two things. This is server where you will create a Docker image and you will be deploying that, and then there is a UI application which you are going to deploy that here. Don't worry if you're this all these things you will be doing the one by one, you will be doing that. Some things if it is bouncing, don't worry at this point of time, like now how to deploy, how to connect, how we are going to create a account, and how to deploy your project into the production environment. I'll be explaining that. Okay, cool. Okay, let me give you a pause. Any questions so far? Any questions, guys? Any questions? You guys are with me at least?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, somewhat my Siri also is saying that I can hear. Okay, cool. Yeah, one like no, here when when you are going to deploy that here, where we will learn about the how we are going to use the Docker. Then we are going to use the what is a Jenkins, how we are going to use the Jenkins, and then we are going to learn about the SonarQube. Okay, SonarQube, how we are going to use the SonarQube. So this is the main things in CI/CD jobs here when you are doing here. So these things you must aware of that. We will be learning about this as well. And here, when you, especially when you're working with the JIT, most of the times, like no JIT, when you're taking here, I will be explaining about that, like no how to create a PRs and how the PRs will be merged. If there is any review comments, how we are going to incorporate the your review comments, and if there is a merge conflicts happens, how we are going to resolve that here, how the branching will be created, merging. Those all concepts will be covered in when I'm covering with the JIT. So every day classroom examples will be pushed, and what are the projects we developed? All the projects, like no, these are uh, the core Java related. Like no, we created the multi-module project here. So in this single project, you will have the all the things you will have it here. Like no, the quiz application. These are one of the simplest quiz application. You can say that here. Uh, what it does is that the quiz application, which is going to read the questions from the uh, question from this JSON file is going to read, and it will ask you the quiz. As a developer, like you will develop that here. Whoever runs that application, it will ask the one by one question. It is going to ask it here, and you are going the like based on the your answers, the result will be computed, and it is going to show that here. The same thing you can see here. There are the contact book application. Then you have a IPL static application. Like this, you have got the multiple applications it is having here. Yeah. Um, yeah, pretty much this is what we are going to cover in this course. And as a the like no the main focus will be given on the backend more. And as a full stack developer, what are the things are required in a UI? We will be covering that here, and SQL is going to be covered in depth. Yeah. Yes. Any questions so far? Does anyone has any specific requirements? Please let me know. Otherwise, yeah, this is what we are pretty much we are going to cover. Yeah. So the like no if time permits and the based on the people interest, we can cover in like no the microservices we can cover microservices. And we are not promising that here. Like now, if the people more number of people are interested, like to learn the microservices, we would be learning about the microservices as well. We'll give the explanation about that, and we'll create one application how to integrate how these microservices are going to communicate. We'll see with the practical example. Yeah, that's it, guys. Pretty much from my side. Uh, Feel free to ask if you have any questions. Ashita, you are asking something, but I'm unable to hear. Your microphone is on. Okay, somebody has messages. How do I join the GitHub? Okay, so not able to hear your voice. Is there any way you can increase the your screen size? Okay, cool. Okay, the GitHub and all these things. Don't worry, guys. Like we will be explaining that, and we will make you to create an account, and how to push the code, and those explanation will be given. Okay, font size was too small. Okay. Then if you don't have any questions, thank you, guys. Uh, yeah, we are done.
Yeah. Hi, Lakshman.
Yeah, go ahead, Chandra.
Um, you will be covering Jenkins in this?
Yeah, we'll be covering Jenkins. Jenkins, or we can go ahead with the GitHub Actions as well. Like now we'll cover the Jenkins. Yeah, how we are going to build like no CI/CD jobs. How we are going to run that. I will explain that.
And any real-time project you will be giving us? or you will be helping us in resume preparation or something?
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And another thing is that, like, no, so as a Jenkins, when you're learning that as a developer, what are the things you required? Uh, like, no, how we are going to monitor your jobs and how to build your jobs and how we are going to configure that. Those all the things we'll be discussing about that. Okay. We will not go completely into the DevOps side.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Then thank you guys then.
Yes. Thanks.